Good evening, race fans, and welcome to BSTV's Wednesday evening. This is the EDF Motorsports GT4 TCR Challenge, round 9 of this season. We are at Mid-Ohio, fantastic track in my own personal opinion. Track temperature of 23 degrees, which is absolutely icy cold compared to the official race I was in yesterday, which was a balmy and, can I say, slightly sweaty 47 degrees. In the booth with me tonight, I have Stacey Jeffries. Good evening.
Good evening, Pete. How you doing?
I am very good, always good, and a pleasure to be here with you. We also have Silent Yaz, who's not so silent anymore.
Good evening, everybody. I hope it's pleasurable to be with me in the booth as well to this evening, Pete.
Not really, but we'll skip over that. Good evening to Russell Cowell on the chat. Hopefully you can shed some insight onto our race, because we really don't have a clue. Such is the way of BSTV. Also, doing our cameras and kind of chipping in every so often tonight is Mel Gibson. Good evening.
Evening.
Right. That was a terrible Australian accent. You're never going to get away with that. So, Mid-Ohio. Yaz, have you driven at Mid-Ohio recently?
Actually, not recently, but I remember starting out in the Backfire GT4 league, and I think this was the second race of season 2. I think it was. It's a fun track. Yeah, am I right?
It is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a blast of a track in my opinion. What do you like about it?
The very long straight where you don't actually have to turn much.
Yeah,
I was very fast on that part of the track.
Yeah.
It's one of the few tracks around here that you get up to the highest gear in the GT4. So yeah, it's a very nice long straight.
Yeah, I find I crash less in straight lines, but not necessarily that I don't crash at all. And Stacey, what do you know of Mid-Ohio? Anything much?
Not to drive, but information coming from the boys from Result. They have told me that the toe on this track is the absolute nuts. And they've also said the hardest part is the corner at the end of the back straight. If you brake too late, you'd be lucky to stay on track.
Yeah, that is a feature in inverted commas of Mid-Ohio, and that corner is at a place called China Beach. That's not the name of the corner, funnily enough. China Beach is the massive sandpit that's beyond it. We'll jump on board with somebody shortly who's guaranteed to finish a lap. But just to let everybody know that we are currently in qualifying. It's a 15-minute qualifying session, of which we are halfway through. And we've got a 1-hour race to follow this. Fuel strategies do apply. They are restricted to 40% fuel. Or if you are in the very, very thirsty McLaren, you get 41% fuel. You think that doesn't make a difference? It does in a car that absolutely sups it like it's water. I do know from racing the officials last night that Rob Venn is terrifyingly quick round here. Tyler is also quick, but Stefan Goebel is probably single lap man fastest at the minute. Not in this session, but as I know it from last night. Yaz, any bids for anybody who's going to win in the two classes? Who's your money on?
Sure. Yeah.
Throw some rand at it. Make it rain. Make it rain.
It's not much going around when it comes to rands, but anyway. Yeah, it's nice to see Wobbly Knee Camp back in the race this week. Just to throw a spanner in the works there. Rob Venn has been very quick the last few weeks. Tyler's never out of it. It just comes down to his strategy. I'd like to see Stefan Goebel up there and surviving the race. He's been very unlucky over the last few rounds. Not to jinx him, but I'm going to put my money on him. I'm going to back him tonight.
That's Stefan throwing it at the scenery on lap 1. And Stacey, what about your GT? What about your TCR bid? What's that going to be?
Mark Draper, as long as he keeps it out of the wall, he wins. Gary Craig had a good showing last week, and Jamie Wilson's always up there. I'm going to say the walls aren't too close this evening, so I think Mark Draper's going to take it.
I did give Gary Craig a thimble full of fuel, so he managed to make it to the end this time. Stacey, who's your GT4 winner for tonight?
Definitely going to be Tyler for sure, 100% on that, and I'll put money on it. And I'm going for Mark for the TCR.
Right, okay, so it's a full Mark bidding. I'm going to go with Gary for the TCR because he's my teammate, and I'll never live it down if I don't vote for him. And in GT4, I'm going to do a Rob Venn. I think he's got this one. And Mel Gibson, what's your vote? Mel Gibson's not having a vote. Right, so...
eating cake.
Oh, Mel Gibson's eating cake. Okay. So, Mid-Ohio, let's see if we can go on board with someone who's on a lap. Probably Gary Craig or Mark Draper would be nice, depending on where they are on track, please, Mel. Cake appears to be affecting Mel Gibson's hands at the minute.
I know someone else also really likes cake. We should introduce him to Mel.
Maybe one day, yeah. Not too soon though. Oh, here we go. So we're on board with Mark Draper. We're just come out of Thunder Valley. For anybody that doesn't know the track, and this is the last bit of the track that we're coming up to. Sorry, this is Thunder Valley. I was on the wrong bit myself. Apologies for that. We come through here. So in this car, fourth gear around that corner. You really want to roll as much as you can in this car, each of the corners. And then you're on the start-finish straight. So we fly towards turn one. A little bit of a dab on the brakes, just stab at it really, and then let it roll through the first corner. Get as much of that sausage curb on the left as you can because it helps you turn. There'll be a lot of cars on the grass on the right, floundering about at the start of the race. Don't worry about that. Then we're into what's called keyhole, not to be mistaken with bumhole, which you get at Snetterton. And then we're on the back straight, which Laz... who's Laz? Anybody? No? Who Yaz likes so much. There's a car doing a massive get out of the way. And then we head towards turn 6. So this is China Beach. China Beach is the sand pit that's over that little crest on the left there. Carried lots of speed through there, really. That didn't look too fast from Mark. And then hold it in third round here. Fire it towards the next one. Not much on the gas round here. Get on early there, though, because this is the S's coming over the top of the brow here. And then we turn right over this horrible turn where you carry too much speed and you just drift out to the left and you can't stop it. And now we're in Thunder Valley. Every track has one in America, and that's what this track looks like. Then left here, fourth gear, into the carousel coming up. Every track in America has a carousel as well. And you want to follow that dark bit of tarmac round this corner. Get on the gas as early as you can, fire it through this last corner. And that is a lap. It's a very... you don't get much time for a rest. There's only the back straight and after turn 1. Everything else is busy, 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 and you're watching your mirrors for people stuffing it down the inside because overtaking round here, Yaz, not so easy, is it?
Yeah, I think the only real opportunity is, well, there's two opportunities. That's the one coming out of turn 1. If you get a good exit over someone else there. And then on the long back straight, there's a massive toe like everybody's been talking about. And if you can hold it together and put it up the inside at the end of that long straight, then you could make a move there, but not really much anywhere else. You're going to have to rely on someone making a mistake somewhere to be able to make a move anywhere else.
Yep, absolutely. And what did you make of that, Stacey?
It looks a really impressive track, to be fair, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, Uncle Bill has done quite a lot of marshalling around this track, which is near a place where some of his family lives in Ohio. So he's very familiar with it. I think Tyler is as well. I'm not sure. I don't know whether Mel Gibson knows anything about that.
No.
No? Okay.
I really feel like I'm missing out on these tracks, and I really need to go abroad and visit these tracks so I know more about them.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at Marco's messages in there. So, have we sorted out the sound now, Clyde?
Don't think so.
No.
It's just said the stream's ended.
No, not for me.
Yeah, looking at the qualifying times here, I mean, we see Robin topping the charts and Stefan Goebel just behind him. And then Tyler Newitt just behind him. So I mean, the top three are very tight. What's that? 0.1, just over 0.1 of a second between the three of them at the top. That is as close as it's going to get. I mean, we still got a bit of time left in qualifying, but yeah, how do you split that three?
Yeah, that is super tight in GT4. It has to be said, and there's not a great deal either in TCR. So Mark Draper is currently top of the pile. Gary is only 1600ths slower. And then Stephen Walker, who any lifelong members of VAESC or BSTV will know Stephen, and he's only 1/10 behind that. Then comes Jamie Wilson, inseparable from Stephen Walker's time. And then who have we got after that? There's a bit of a jump back to Carl Hardy, and hopefully he's sorted out all his sound issues from last week, because that caused him some bother. Where are we time-wise in this session? We are not far away from the end of it, so let's see who's out on track.
Yeah, looking at that, also looking at that qualifying there in the TCRs, Chris Shaw half a second off the pace in 6th at this stage.
Well done, Gary. Couldn't that one a bit plain. Nice flat, mate.
Provisionally, you're poleman for GT4, and Gary Craig is provisionally TCR poleman. Can't find my phone to put a lottery ticket on. Oh, I'm too late anyway. Anyway, so has the session ticked over yet? No, we've got 5 seconds. Let's see. I'll talk about the championship once we're into the race, because I think we're going to trip over now and actually get the grid up on the screen, hopefully. There it is. Yaz, do you want to take us through the GT4 field?
Okay, so first we've got Rob Vin, he's BSTV eSport Yellow. Stefan Goebel in 2nd place, a fraction behind him of BTS Germany. Tyler Newest, BSTV Orange in 3rd. Wobbly Niekamp back in 4th place for Next Level E-Series team. And then Chris Needham for RWC Racing. Arnaud Chenanier, RWC Racing in 6th. And then Jason Harrington, RWC Racing 2 in 7th. And then we've got Alan Toon also bringing up the rear as a privateer, starting in 8th in the GT4.
Oh, Stacey, do you want to do the rest? You'll have to be quick if you do, because you don't get much of a rolling lap here.
I would love to, but I can't see it. It's all pixelated. I've been kicked off the Wi-Fi.
Okay, in that case, Gary Craig is a poleman for TCR, for BSTV Esports Green. Big cheer, round of applause. Mark Draper is 2nd off tonight for Work Guard by result. Stephen Walker in 3rd. Jamie Wilson for Team Chimera in 4th. 5th will be Carl Hardy for Safeguard by result. Chris Shaw will go off 6th for BSTV Esports Yellow. Lee Bowden will go next for Sim Racing Channel. 16th will be Scott Malcolm for Team Mad. Martin Brennan for Safeguard by result will go off after him. Then David Ayres for Result Clothing. And then Frank T. Bosch for Result Clothing. Surprise there is David Ayres. Why is he so low down, do we think?
Fantastic.
Could be a couple of things. It could be lack of practice, or he's just been unlucky through the qualifying session and hadn't been able to put in a good time.
Top split yesterday evening.
Yeah,
So that is well out of the norm. So they are rolling now anyway. As I said, you don't get much of a chance to get your tyres warm because they're already into the carousel. So this is the penultimate turn already.
Yeah.
This is a-
We're gonna have to watch. Everybody just needs to get away clean here.
Stefan's
that's-
not got away well at all. Rob Venn has absolutely shot the roost. He's gone.
Yeah, it looks
Stefan's...
like
Sorry, go on.
it looks like Wobbly's got a good jump on the start there, and Tyler's also. Is Tyler jumped all the way to the front?
I don't know where Tyler is at the minute. It's hard to
Well,
tell on the
he's-
track map.
It looks like he's gone wide he's gone wide and gone off. He's
Oh, he
off track
has?
completely.
Good spot. And he's lost a wing mirror. He needs to be told that this is not Long Beach.
Something's happened at the start there that we kind of missed, but
Oh, look at that. Massive bit of netcode. There's about 4 foot between him and the BMW there.
he's gone straight on there.
I think his front suspension snapped.
That's massively unlucky for him there.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
But looking at that now, Rob Venn is pulled away at the front. Wobbly Niekamp is chasing up behind him, and Stefan Goebel is still in third. And then the RWC races are coming up behind him.
Yeah. What have we got going on at the front of TCR at the minute? I think Gary Craig's... Yeah, here we go. Gary Craig's still got his lead. Oh, he's just shaved a bit of paint off.
Yeah, I think Gary Craig's jumped Mark Draper at the start there. I think Gary was started in second, so Mark Draper's... he's got the jump on Mark Draper on the start, and he seems to be putting a little bit of a gap between himself and not much, but Mark Draper's got company through Walker right behind him.
Yeah, Stephen Walker's giving him a bit of pressure here, isn't he, Stacey?
I do apologise. I can't really see much.
All right, okay.
It keeps going in and out. So
No, that's fine.
I do
Let us know if you get anything
apologise.
back.
Yeah, well, the TCRs are the TCRs again. All fun and games together. They never split up. They're always chasing after each other in each other's back pockets, and that's what it looks like the way they're going around at this stage.
See if Gary gets mugged at the end of this straight, because the toe round here is massive. In fact, Stephen Walker's just proven that. He was off the gas ages before anybody else. Oh, Gary's a bit sideways going round into oh dear, where are we? I can't remember. There is a name for that corner that I can never ever remember.
Yeah, it looks like Jamie Wilson's got the jump on. Who's that? Mark Draper's going backwards at the moment because Jamie Wilson's passed him and Stephen Walker's got past him now.
Yeah, that's a good call. Stephen Walker's giving some serious attention to the back of Gary's car. We know that Stephen's got the speed for anything he drives, really. We've had him in our leagues before.
Yeah, I think that what's going to happen is that if it's going to come down to strategy, from what I believe, this race would go about 41 laps, 42 laps, close to. And it should make it, if you go on full pace, you're going to make about 19 to 20 laps on a fuel tank. That's in the GT4s at least. And I think if you're following around here, it would be it will be quite easy to fuel save on that long straight, just lifting off a little bit. So I almost think that the one-stop strategy is going to come into play today.
I agree with you. And Jamie Wilson has hauled in Stephen Walker. We're looking back from Stephen's car. And they are both on terms with Gary Craig, really. Look at that from Jamie Wilson. Oh, there's that Mark Draper going wide in the background. Not quite. But you can't get a Rizzler between Jamie's car and Stephen's.
Oh. That is as close as it can get.
Honestly, he must have utter faith in his internet. Because that's netcode central everywhere he is right now.
Well, he also has utter faith in Stephen Walker, not where he's braking. And
he will do, because these two have raced V8s in anger together for quite a long time. Mel Gibson will back me up on that, won't you, Mel?
Nope.
No, apparently not. Yeah, into lap 4 we go. Oh
Ooh.
dear!
Ooh,
Oh dear! Who
that's
is that?
Sir Alan Toon.
Oh,
A
Alan.
little bit of a disaster happening there. I
Yeah.
think he might have got a fright for the TCRs pulling up behind him. But that turn one is tricky if you're trying to get us tight on that pit, the pit exit little curb that's there. And if you're coming too fast, you're going to go all the way to the outside and just touch the grass like that. And then boom.
That's exactly what's happened. Good assessment, Yaz. Snapped his front suspension as well. He's not going to be able to turn that car once it's back on track very well, I don't think. And the TCRs have caught one of the McLarens. That's Jason Haddington.
Oh, he must have had a bit of an incident as well.
Yeah. Tyler's been in and repaired his car and out again. I think he's on lead lap still, because obviously he's got a fast repair to go with it. So this is Jason heading towards China Beach, I think. Yep. Maybe not. That's too slow for
there
China
we go.
Beach.
Here we've got the...
Whoa. Oh, no, it is. So he's about 3 weeks back to the track from where he's going to end up.
So is that a good example of what Cole Hardy was trying to explain to me about that corner?
Yes.
Yeah, well, he's done well not to turn that around and not hit the wall on the far side.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that explains why the TCR field is right up on his behind at this stage.
And this will help Gary out no end because he'll have draft heading down here. The TCRs are super quick round keyhole, and they reel in the GT4s. He'll pull away now, but that'll be enough draft, hopefully, because I'm selfish, and he's my teammate, that he'll pull away. Although it does look like Stephen Walker's got the tractor beam out here. He's not trying anything, and they both take a similar line into China Beach corner, turn 4, in this setup of Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, I think based on the length of that long straight, it would make sense to just sit in behind the leader and not want to be in front.
Yeah.
You're just going to save some fuel and save your tires, not trying to go too hard, while the person in front is just they're just punching a hole in the air in front of you.
Looking back here from Gary's car, he has got a bit of a gap. Or he had a bit of a gap. Oh, that's a bit wide from Stephen, but he's managing to pull it back for Apex, so doesn't really matter. And Gary's got himself half a second of breathing space at the moment. Meanwhile, in GT4, look at that, all of them are together. Rob Venn still leads by 1.16 seconds. He's not being let go by Wobbly Kneecamp, that's for sure, in his different coloured and liveried BMW tonight. Have I seen his picture? No, I've not got that running at the minute. I can't believe you've done that. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's class. Oh dear. Awesome. Like it. In third is Stefan. Please don't throw it at the scenery and get yourself a finished Goebel. Fourth is Chris Needham, just a little bit further back in the Porsche. Then Arnaud Chenonier. Hopefully I've said that right. Somebody will correct me if I'm not. And then away back is Jason Haddington. Somewhere a long way back is Tyler Newitt, still on lead lap and trying to get himself back on terms. I don't know whether he can do anything about this. There is a pit stop needed, obviously, and there'll be, no doubt, the solar-panelled Tyler Newitt Porsche that'll get around here using as little fuel as possible. Yaz, do you reckon he's got a chance now or not?
Yeah, I think the fast repair that he's used, I think he topped up the fuel to make it to the end, I'm sure. So I don't think he's going to have to make another stop. If we know Tyler, he only needs the one. The stop that he does make is just because it's mandatory.
Yeah, he probably runs it on water or something. Meanwhile, back where all the red timing alerts are, Gary is leading by not very much, just 0.2 of a second. You can take keyhole in a number of different ways. I take it the same way every time because I have no talent. But you can take it a bit wider on the entry, get a late exit, and carry more speed down the straight. Or you can pile it into the start of the turn and get your advantage on the entry to it. Then there's the sensible version, which is what I do, and just constant radius the turn and hope you don't crash on the way out. Ooh, Gary sideways, hanging the back out again. It's working for him, but it's certainly concertinaed up the cars here.
I think something that we've missed is that Carl Hardy's made his way up to fourth, ahead of Mark Draper and Chris Shaw, and holding onto the back of that top 4 train. There's a slight gap between him and Mark Draper, but that 4-car train at the front is really going at it now.
There's not much between any of them. They will find it difficult to do any overtakes around here. Like you were saying before, Yaz, you've got 2 opportunities at the end of the 2 big straights to try and get the other car offline. That's the other way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just about, it really is about capitalizing on any sort of small errors that your opposition is making, getting a better exit wherever you can so that you can make it on the next turn. But not much that you can do other than on those 2 straights.
And Clyde, your take on Tyler's ability to get to the end without another stop?
Not a hope in hell.
Yeah, I'm not convinced either. I think he's got to do some laps.
Yeah,
I
don't think even Tyler could do that. Great battle in TCRs.
It's absolutely stunning, to be honest.
It looks like they're just going to be sticking together all the time. Apologies if we've got any sound issues. Obviously, I am the stand-in cameraman because if you don't know, Sam has broken his arm. There's a lot of rumours going around on the internet about how he did it. Some say he was vigorously waxing a dolphin. Others say that he just decided to count his money and his wallet fell on his arm. But I have had it from the horse's mouth that he was out shopping for Belgian fries or chips for normal people, and tripped over the step on the way out of the shop and broke his arm. So get well soon, Sam, and everyone will just have to put up with me coming out of my semi-retirement for a little while.
I think the dolphin story is the more plausible.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
The others sound very far-fetched.
Yeah, that was in Hello magazine, that one.
Right, okay, yeah. That's guaranteed then,
Definitely
isn't it?
prefer Pete's though. Pete, you had the best one.
I do.
Yeah.
What, they tripped on a Belgian fry?
No, the other one.
I don't remember what I said.
You said he slipped on a burger.
I slipped on a burger, yeah, there we go. There's Mark Draper. He's got a very strange line through there. I don't think it's very optimal, and that's possibly why he's dropped back to 5th. He was very, very wide into turn 4.
Yeah, I think, like you said, there's many ways to take the various corners, and we're actually seeing it play out on this broadcast in the race. Is that you can see them when they're racing so close together. You can actually see how they're taking different lines through the various corners, and that's just because it's possible. And then also, they're also trying to just make sure that whoever's driving in front of them is looking in the mirrors, just needing to be wary of what's happening behind them, and trying to put them off as best as they can.
Yeah, and that is part of the magic of Mid-Ohio. Distracting the car in front of you into a mistake is one of the better ways to overtake, to be fair. Someone that's 2 drivers, really, that have surprised me in this field. Lee Bowden's usually higher up than he is. He's way back at the moment, 8th in class, usually at the pointy end. And David Ayres. David Ayres is usually hanging off the back of the front 4, usually. So maybe this temperature or I don't know. He was fast last night. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll find out after the race. Not sure. Any inside information, Stacey, on David Ayres and why he won a race last night and not so quick tonight?
I don't know. Maybe too much drinking. But I'm quite shocked Cole's doing pretty well, considering he's got man flu.
Has he got man flu? That's a killer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Maybe he should
that's
get
giving him the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're putting a gap between themselves and Mark Draper now, slightly, not much, but the more that this plays out, if they're going to do the same lap times, that gap is going to get bigger.
Yeah, I think. Ooh, this is wobbly knee cam closing in on Rob Venn. So Rob had over a second lead. Now it's just under a second. So I don't know whether Rob's tyres might be becoming an issue, or Wobbly's optimal now. We are 11 laps in. Don't know what the story is there. I do know that Stephen Walker is now going to be overtaking Gary, so we need to get cameras on Stephen if we can. And he's done him round the outside at turn 4. He'd passed him before the turn. Oh dear, Jamie got into the back of Gary there. Straightened him up, I think, as well. Oh, and another one for fun. And that's allowed Stephen Walker to jet off into the distance. Be interesting to see that. I know you probably won't have any incident record, Clyde, but if we could see the overtake and the bit of, oh, here we go. So yeah, lined him up round the outside here. Must have been a lot later on the brakes than Gary. He was slightly later on the brakes. Held it well.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. The place to pass at the end of the straight there. You just need to have a good run or good exit at the keyhole hairpin, and then you can make it count.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, let's have a look at this then. I mean, he's about to get done by Chris Shaw. Yeah.
I think that pulled the whole TCR field together, except for Stephen, who's pulled quite a big gap up the front,
He has. It'll be interesting to see if he can put his foot down and gap this lot, and if his tyres last. Now, the setups for the TCR are a bit wild, to be honest, on tyre wear. Some are brilliant at the start. They have a ton of grip. You can fling it into corners, you can hang the back end out. But after about 20 laps, they're worth nothing at all. It'll be interesting to see if these cars take fronts. Other setups, they seem to make the tyres last a lot longer, and obviously the less input you put on the wheel, the longer your tyres are going to last you. So there's a lot to play out in TCR at the minute.
Just to go, I'm just seeing that Stefan Goebel has made a pass on wobbly knee camp. It looks like it.
Let's have a look then. Here we go. So he's a long way back here. So has Wobbly done something that he... Oh, yes, he got a massive drift coming out of turn 1. Must have got too much curb, and Stefan's just carried his natural momentum past him. And that's given Rob Venn almost a 2-second buffer.
And that's just it. You need to. He wasn't even looking in his mirrors, but you just need to make sure you don't make any mistakes. In this league, it's an hour-long race, which is, and that maybe speaks also to what you're talking about, the setups, burning up tires, and the guys. The official races that the guys practice in is only 30 minutes, and you need to take into account that you now need to double that time. It's quite significantly longer.
It is, and if you do take tyres in the TCR, it's between 8 and 10 seconds. So you're going to be, unless you've got an 8 to 10 second gap, or you think you can eke it out over the course of the second stint, it's not going to be in your best interest to do it. Okay, footage of Tyler Newitt coming up. is overtaking Lee into China. Ooh, that's not the way you take that corner. That's China Beach. He's heading straight towards. Oh, lovely slow-mo. That's good. That's stylish with the dirt kicking up and everything. If you can get a bit of sunset in there, maybe a bit of Clint. Oh, turn the camera around and everything. That's awesome. Yeah, a bit of Clint Eastwood somewhere on a hill. That'd be excellent.
Tyler might not have enjoyed that, but that really does look so much fun.
It did, yeah. I think there's going to be some. Well, he's not old enough to swear, is he? So there'll be some dams and drats going on in that rig at the minute.
And I think I owe Tyler a big apology because I've definitely cursed him tonight.
That's a strong curse you've got there, Stacey. You want to keep that to yourself. That's a bit like Clyde mentioning a certain person on the BTCC, and it only took him 4 corners to get nerfed off, or lose it. That was a strong curse you put on him, wasn't it, Clyde?
Yeah, but he still won race 3.
He did. He did, yeah.
So, guys, going back to tyres, the result boys seem to think they probably won't be changing tyres this week.
Oh, right. Okay, so they're going to maintain their 8 to 10 seconds.
I think we had going away from this racing, we saw a really good example of what tyres can do in the Formula 1 race this weekend. The all-time winner who keeps on winning eked out, what was that, about 25 seconds in the last 20 laps?
Yeah.
Just with new tires. So, like you said, it might be 8 seconds, and can they claw back that 8 seconds in the race?
What's interesting here on that note, Yaz, is Jamie Wilson there has got Carl Hardy crawling all over him now, and Mark Draper. So maybe Mark's tyres are going to come to him. But Gary has naffed off down the road. He's got himself a 1.4 second gap over Jamie, and he's about to get done here by Carl. He's probably going to hang it around the inside of the next corner and keep that position. That'll put Carl offline and Mark on an optimal line. So, yes, the tyre wear and tyre preservation argument is going to be raging around Mid-Ohio, just like it is in the Formula 1.
Yeah, I think it's a brave call to not take tyres around here. But then again, it's what's the temperature like? It's not anywhere close. It's very cool, so it could work.
Yeah, temperature currently is 24 degrees. That's not warm at all.
Yeah, so I mean that could play a part, but I do think that if anybody does take tyres, you're going to see that pace in the second half of the race.
You would be probably advised to take tyres earlier than if you're going to do that, I think.
And we've got a first stop with Jamie Wilson.
Oh, we do? He's not popped up, because he'd still be up, and he's away again already. So what did he do in pit stall time? He was 14 seconds stationary. Doesn't pop up at all. 37 seconds in pit lane.
What it does do is it puts him in clean air with nobody chasing behind him, and not much pressure. So hopefully for him, he can now put in the lap times without the pressure.
Yep, we are 26 minutes in, so not yet. Well, we're not even 26 minutes in, are we? What have we got a replay of here? Jason getting a tyre off.
Again, looking like so much fun.
Yeah, full lockup. Nice hot tyres there. Everybody's done that on that turn. That's the entrance to Thunder Valley there.
Yeah, it's quite tricky with it. You're coming down the hill, and then you need to sort of just come off the throttle just a little bit and touch on the brakes to make that corner, and then go back down the hill. So you're trying to stay focused and trying to stay. You're concentrating very hard in that section.
Pit lane is suddenly very busy. Yes, we've got
it looks like it.
Gary, Mark, Chris, and Martin's in. Any swearing upstairs, Stacey, or is this a scheduled stop?
Nobody's
He's
popping
actually
up.
being really quiet.
Oh, right. Must be positive.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's taken tires there.
Look at the pit times. All of them 14-ish seconds. Well, over 14. Who's that on 15? Gary was on 15.3. So he may end up... well, he's not lost any positions in that little round of pit stops.
Yeah, I think he may have just he's just put in a little bit more fuel to be safe.
Yeah, I think
what happened last
Martin...
week.
Yeah, I think Martin's taken tyres. So he was stationary for 15 seconds longer than anyone else. So I think he's taken a full set. We're currently following Wobbly Knee Camp. Oh, here we go. Martin in the pits. Let's have a look at the replay. Into his pit box. It's not a long pit lane here, so yeah, up he goes. So Martin taking 4 tyres, I reckon. Wobbly losing a bit of ground to Stefan at the minute.
Yeah, and Stefan's losing a bit of ground to Rob Vin. It's quite a big gap now from 1 to 2.
There is, yeah, 2.6 seconds at the moment. Rob Venn, I think, has the fastest... Oh, no, he doesn't. Tyler Newitt currently has the fastest lap of the race. A 127.54.
Yeah, that's just a long way to go for him to get in anyway. Just a couple of incidents that just cost him up front. That's going to make it very tough for him. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself.
Yeah, he's going to end up pitting probably on the same lap as all the other GT4s in order to make the fuel up. He was only stationary in his box on his enforced pit stop for 4 seconds. Lee Bowden, what's he done? Going very, very slowly. Oh, hang on. Technical issue? Oh, and David Ayres, I think, has been dropped by the server.
What's happened there with Lee?
Mark Draper is now behind Chris Shaw after that round of pit stops. They were the opposite way round before they went in the pits. Trying to see what's happened to Lee. He's still in the pit. Oh, he's reset to the pits, I should say.
Yeah, is Stephen Walker and Carl Hardy the only two, and Scott Melk, have they stopped yet?
No.
They haven't. Okay.
Not yet. I'm going to step away for a second. I'll be back very shortly.
That's going to be interesting when they do stop, because their stops should technically be a little bit shorter than the others, and it was quite tight at the front of the field in the TCR. So it would be interesting to see where they come out. Mark Draper putting a move on Chris Shaw here. Oh. That wasn't as clean as could be, but it looks like Mark's letting him go by. We talk about this every week about how the drivers, the attitude of the drivers and how clean this league is. We just see there was a little bit of a argy-bargy, which usually wouldn't be a nice thing, but Mark Draper doing the right thing by letting Chris Shaw go ahead of him, waiting for him to pass, because he knows he didn't make that move.
Yeah, Mark immediately apologised to Chris, and then, like you say, once Chris was back under control, Mark let him go, and they lived to fight another day.
Yeah, I think that's very important, for this league to keep going. Guys want to be competitive, and they are competitive, very competitive. We see that in the times and how close the times are, and how closely they battle. But you need to have the drivers with the right attitudes to be able to have races like these, and to continue having races like these. and we see it week in, week out. It's really a good advert for what we've got going here. Yeah, I think in the GT4s you could take 2 tires and not lose too much time in the pit stop. We'll see what happens here, and yeah, I'm thinking if they are going to be taking tires, they'd probably be taking left side tires around here. The right hand turns are quite strong and are quite taxing on the tires around this track, so that should see an advantage as the race progresses.
Sorry about that. Scott Malcolm with his massive throw on the screen at the moment. Jason Haddington leaving the pits. So are you saying that they were taking lefts because the turns are so sharp round here, Yaz?
Yeah, I think it would make sense to take lefts if you were going to take tires around here. The right-hand turns are extremely taxing, so that would make sense.
Yeah, he's definitely taking tires. Stefan provisionally takes the lead.
I can't see the time in the race, but how far are we in now?
Yep.
31.5. So it's safe to say that they've made this a one-stopper. So now it's just a race to the end, and who's gonna, if they have taken tires, equally taken tires, we should see a good race coming out to the end. It's just about what they can do on track.
Stefan's Tyler in for a squirt of fuel probably, and tyres. He's popped up. So he's going to have to see how many places he can haul in on his next stint. Stefan still out in front here. Coming up to the carousel at the end of the lap.
Yeah, he's also coming up to some TCR traffic, so it would make sense for him to just dart off into the pit lane now, which he does.
Good call, Yaz. So most of the GT4s had 45-ish seconds in pit road. Let's see where Stefan ends up popping out.
Yeah, Stefan not taking tires, eh?
Oh, well, that's going to be very interesting come the end of the race.
Well, he'll definitely come out in the. He should come out in the lead now.
Because that'll save him at least 10 seconds.
But Rob Vin, he's coming up the start-finish straight.
He's passed him already.
Oh, that's strange. And Wobbly Niekamp was passed. Is that Wobbly I saw that past?
Yeah, Stefan was stationary for quite a long time, so I think he did take tyres.
It's very strange. Yeah, we didn't see that car pop up, which is strange. Could he have stayed stationary because he put in more fuel? I'm not quite sure what happened there.
That'd be a lot more fuel, like as in significantly more.
Yeah, and considering that he stopped later, you wouldn't have needed as much.
So yeah, he took 2 seconds longer than Rob Venner, who took tyres, and 3 seconds longer or more than Wobbly. So I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Well, he has lost 1 position in those pit stops. Wobbly's come past, and by quite some margin. So yeah, we'll see if he can reel them in again. I think he'll be hoping that one of them just puts a foot wide somewhere, just so that he can reel them in a little bit quicker. But yeah, this is a race to the end now. I can't, unless there's some big mistake, I can't see the others coming into a podium position. Watching the replay now, that car definitely didn't go up, so that's a bit strange why that pit stop was so long.
Is inexplicable at the minute. I don't get that. I don't know why he would do that, and why he'd be stationary for the same length of time as people who had taken tyres. Meanwhile, Scott Malcolm is currently leading the TCR field. As Stephen Walker boxes the car. So we've got two TCRs that haven't pitted, this being one of them, Scott Malcolm. And behind him, 13 seconds behind him, is Frank T-Bosch. Not often on the cameras, so a few seconds of fame for being second in the race. Gary Craig has now got 4 seconds to Stephen Walker, and Carl Hardy has got 1 second to Gary. So this is all spread out a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually quite spread out now after the pit stops. I mean, we saw them in each other's back pockets before the pit stops started. So yeah, there's quite a bit of air between each of them. Saying that, we see Chris Shaw right in the tail of Jamie Wilson.
Yeah, he's right up behind him now. And that back straight will have given him a massive boost of toe. These Audis do punch a pretty big hole in the air. And you get the toe from about 2 seconds back. It's huge on this track.
Yeah, we've
Better
seen
line through there from Chris as well. Look at this. He's got a good run here. I don't know that this is an overtaking chance, but he's bailed on it.
No. Yeah, I think that is just one of those moves to try and put him off. But I don't think he was ever going to try to make a move around there.
He's a wise racer, Jamie Wilson. He's not going to get put off by a move like that. Oh, has Carl Hardy already been in?
Yeah, this is a second time he's in now, I think. Drive-through?
It's a drive-through. Is that
Was that about?
speeding on pit lane, exiting or something? What did he do here? Has he lost it on the carousel and had to go down pit lane or not? No, that's a voluntary move down pit road.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to find out after what's happened there.
Yeah, that's very odd.
Hey, is Alan?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Could be. In terms of off tracks, there's not that many knocking about. Tyler's got a few on SD. I know SDK is not entirely reliable for stuff like that. Yeah, we'll have to see what that's all about come the end of the race. Frank T-Bosch is now in from second in TCR. These two are still raging. What were you going to say, Stacey?
I was just going to ask if our lovely Sir Alan Tomb's still in the race, because I can't see any positions or any timings or anything.
He is, yeah. He's back in 7th place in GT4. He's a lap down, I think. Yes, he is a lap down. We're just watching Carl Hardy.
Whatever's
Carl
happened
Hardy
there.
doing a bit of speeding on his actual pit stop. I think it was, you know.
And yeah, that's he was.
Oh, hang on.
What's that live?
Yeah, sorry, I thought that was a replay. My apologies.
So what did he? When we saw the drive-through, we saw him sort of moving towards the, sort of off the line of the pit road. I wonder if he missed his box the first time around.
Oh, you might be onto something there.
Because he looked like he was turning in and then sort of changed his mind or something happened there. But whatever's going on is cost him a podium.
No, this is something else. He did. Sorry about that. Yep. Hopefully we can get a replay of it because we're busy talking about why Carl Hardy was back in pit lane. I don't think that's entirely right, Yaz, because he's still in pit lane or he's been in there for a minute. So Here's Chris lining up in the slipstream 1, Jamie Wilson. But fairly equal on the brakes, to be fair, but obviously the better line from Chris to do the block pass there. A little nudge to say, I saw you.
We've seen a lot of these two going head to tail in the last couple of weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, we really have. They're both super quick and very clever race masters. Mark Draper here getting equally interested into Keyhole, but he's not doing anything this time round. He might have a better run out of the corner though. It's funny, you know, when you come around Keyhole, sometimes you have to do a little lift to straighten the car up if you've got on the gas too soon or not turned the car sufficiently. And it slows you down so much. Getting on the gas and staying on the gas, which is what Gary always professes I should be doing, is so much faster. That little tiny blip lift does so much damage to your momentum. And these three, you could throw a very small blanket, maybe a handkerchief over the three of them. Mark's drive off that last corner was awesome.
Just looking at the timing screens, there's Scott Malcolm still hasn't pitted, or is he really in third place?
No, he's pitted.
Oh, well, that is a good jump there if he has.
Yep, he was stationary in his pit box. Now this is where Scott Malcolm comes unstuck, as we already know. I think he is in danger of that. So everybody around him has stopped for at least 14 seconds. Some of them 14.05, some of them... Ooh, look at that from Mark Draper. Is he... Oh, there's a bit of door banging. Bit of how's your father there. As Jamie goes after him again, down the back straight. So... back to Scott Malcolm. He's only stopped for 12.63 seconds in his pit box. That's 1.5 seconds at least less fuel. Oh, Jamie's got a good line here at the minute. He's not going to hang it around the outside there. It's too sharp a corner.
So Scott Malcolm is back, and Scott Malcolm's done a Scott Malcolm, possibly.
I think so. It's going to get coined as doing a Malcolm.
Yeah, these two's door banging has given Chris Shaw a bit of breathing space. I'm sure Chris Shaw would be hoping that the two of them keep going at it. You know, Jamie Wilson is very quick, and I'm sure he's going to put pressure on Mark Draper as much as he can.
His tyres will come back to him. Setup in this car does treat the tyres very differently, like we said earlier. So maybe that'll come back. Meanwhile, in GT4, Rob Venn still leads by 3.6 seconds over Wobbly Niekamp, but Stefan is hauling Wobbly in now. He's got the tractor beam out and he's got his sights set on second place. Into turn one, a much better line from Stefan, held the apex better. He's got a good run up to Keyhole. And if he stays off the brake, he'll reel him in very quickly. Oh, he's too deep there, is he? Or is he going to get a late apex? Bit of a strange line. Can't believe that was 100% what he expected.
Also, we're going to see what happens as the time goes by, because we're still not sure whether Stefan took tyres in that pit stop or not, even though he was stationary for a little bit longer. So will he survive the full hour? Will his tyres survive the full hour as good as the rest?
I'm going to say, based on the two sharp corners that I've seen him do, that he didn't take tyres because he's ploughing the corners. If you notice, he's very quick on the straights, but he's letting Wobbly get away in the corners somewhat. I mean, the tyres on these things should last for an hour, but how optimal they are after time, I don't know. You would think that if the majority are taking tyres, that would mean that there's a big drop-off. He stayed tight around there as well. I don't know. It's going to be a gamble either way. We'll have to ask him at the end of the race. Oh, and look at that. Mark Draper onto Chris Shaw.
Looks like they've dropped Jamie Wilson a little bit there. I wonder if he's got some trouble.
I think he must do. I mean, he's... how far back has he just dropped off him? 1.5 seconds. And there's Mark Draper getting himself a position. Ooh, not quite though. He's got a bit sideways going into, or rather out of, China Beach. Oh dear.
That's a brave one, trying to go around the outside there. But he's held it well there, so that's fine. He's still in this.
I think we've lost Stacey from the booth. Must be on a points finish.
It's amazing how we can watch these TCRs week in, week out, right on top of each other, battle after battle. That's close. And it and it never gets old. They just keep going.
Absolutely riveting stuff to watch. And I think Gary Craig is he being caught or is he catching Stephen? I can't. No, he's being caught, isn't he? Wow, that was close. My God.
He's got the inside line here, so yeah, I think.
No, you can hang it out round keyhole, but ooh, that's the same move he pulled on Jamie Wilson. That's well done, that, isn't it?
I think Chris just saw him a little bit better there, giving the room.
Yep.
There's definitely enough space there. That's a very good move by Mark.
So, yeah, I think Gary Craig is either under pressure or giving pressure to somebody. Is it Scott? Yes, it's Scott closing in on Gary ever so slightly. Where has this turn of speed come from? Do you think that his car weighs a bit less?
I was about to say I have a feeling he's a bit light at the moment.
Yeah.
It would be quite funny if he's done a Malcolm.
Yeah, I think he's going to be seething if that is the case. He's only got 15 fuel calculators, all of which are faulty. I mean, if he pulls it off, then good on him. Now, Wobbly has now been officially caught. That's Stefan right on his 6 at the minute. Here we go. From Stefan's perspective. Not the easiest person to get past is Wobbly.
Yeah, no, Wobbly is a wily character.
Stefan was off the gas very early there, though, don't you think?
I think there's certain places around here where you're gonna lift off because you just know it's no point in trying to go in fast and hard. I think what's gonna come into play here is the traffic up ahead of them. How do they navigate that? It looks like they're gonna pick up these TCRs in the windy bits of this track. Jesus.
Stefan's got some different lines going on. I don't know whether he's trying to give Wobbly a bit of the willies in terms of making him think he's doing something silly or not. I don't know, but it's certainly not disadvantaging Stefan.
Yeah, he's definitely going very quickly at this stage compared to Wobbly.
Yeah.
Because he's caught up right up behind him and giving him some trouble.
I don't think it's long before we'll see something done. Meanwhile, TCR-wise, Gary's seriously getting caught by Scott now. It's under half a second. And you're right, they've caught the back of, I think that's Frank's car, is it? Yeah, Frank T-Bosch in front. They've caught him.
Yeah, this is going to be...
He's having to get out of the gas. You're right, Yaz. Good call.
Where they make this pass is going to be, it's really going to be telling. Hopefully they can both get past and Frank just stays out of it, which he does.
Nice
well done. Well done, but Frank.
And here we are. Scott Malcolm on Gary Craig.
Yeah, and yeah, just looking at the. Sorry, I know it's not in picture now, but I can see that Rob Vin is catching up to that big battle with Jamie Wilson and Chris Shaw, Mark Draper, that three-way battle. So for him to get past there is also going to take some negotiation, which is not going to be easy. Hopefully that also just plays out without incident.
Yeah, they all know each other, so they'll know how close they can drive to one another. We're watching these guys, but pretty much checked out now at the front of the TCR field is Stephen Walker in his first race with us. There he is.
Yeah, it's nice to get new guys in here, and good quality as well. It just shows that the league as itself is attracting people. I know we've spoken about the smaller field this season, but you can still see new guys coming in because they can obviously they can spot the quality that's in this league, and it's something that they want to be involved in.
Yeah, they want to see if they can beat some of these quality drivers that we've got, and that's always going to be the attraction, isn't it? And great that we've got these guys in this league.
Yeah, Stefan is all over the back of Wobbly now. Wobbly's looking very solid, not wobbly at all at this stage. So, how long this keeps up, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we've seen a Wobbly hold off Tyler for quite some time in a few of the races that he's won. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to place a car, how to make it as wide as possible. I mean, the BMW is wide on its own. But yeah, he knows how to drive this car, drive the socks off this car.
Yeah, he really does. I don't know what the tow is like for the GT4s. I don't see why it would be any different to the TCRs. On that particular attempt, I think that Wobbly was probably a bit quicker around turn 1. So there's a bit of toing and froing going on here.
Yeah, there's always talk about which car's quicker and which one is, which one is the advantage and so on. But these cars are so even. It really comes down to the drivers themselves. I mean, the cars, at the quickest are a couple of tenths off each other. So it really, like I said, comes down to the driver skill and what they can do with it to make it really count. They say the new Mac is very fast. It does eat a bit of fuel, but it's one of the quicker of the GT4s. But look at this. We've got the Porsche in front, the BMW in the middle, and a Porsche behind that. So, 6 of this, half a dozen of the other. It just comes down to driver talent.
It does. You would think on previous seasons that Porsche would be better around Mid-Ohio purely because of the amount of twisty turns, and the BMW is very much the power straight line car traditionally, but they are fairly balanced here, I'd say. I think you're absolutely right. It's down to the driver capability and the lines and how easy on the tyres you can be whilst maintaining speed, as with every race. What have we got going on here?
Yeah, it looks like Rob has made his way through the
Tyler
again.
Tyler. Yeah, too much curb at turn 1 and another lovely sideways slow-mo. Hopefully he doesn't hit the wall. He's on full lock.
Ooh.
Full lock now. Is this going to be a sideways smash? No, is he managed to? Oh no, he does make contact.
Slight touch on the wall.
Tiny though. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Have you, Pete? Have you been chatting to Tyler and giving him some tips on these slow mos?
No, I did grease the track at turn 1, so didn't tell anybody I'd done it. In 1995ers, Wobbly Knee Camp with the most epic picture. Absolutely. Courtesy of Clyde. Oh, did he do it? That's class.
Yeah, I think he's just taken it all and
He
run
has,
with it.
yeah. Yeah.
I think he might have changed his passport, the name on his passport as well.
Yeah. Thanks to BSTV for another set of names. To go with AAA, Double R, and all the others. And these two are still going here. Nothing between them still. 0.2 of a second, that's what that is.
Yeah, Rob Vin has made his way through all that traffic rather unscathed. He has lost a bit of time to the following Wobbly and Stefan Gobel, but they need to now make their way through that. So I'm sure he'll catch up because he's got quite a gap ahead of him.
You'd think Scott Malcolm would have a haircut now that lockdown's finished.
Yeah. You say that, Yaz, but there's only going to be about 4 minutes racing left, I think.
So have you gotten that far? Sorry, I can't see the clock on there. So.
It's all right. I think there's only 4 minutes left. So what have we got? Is that 2, maybe 3 laps ish?
Someone's gotten between Wobbly Niekamp and Stefan Gobel here, and that's robbed us a little bit of a battle for that last 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's because Chris was in a battle of his own at that point, trying to get gap on Jamie Wilson, I think, which he's managed to do. But yeah, you're right. That's separated them now.
Yeah, and you know, at a track like this, you need to think about that. Well, there's not much you can do about it, but you know, at a track like this where you've got that windy section where you really can't do anything. You know, the traffic does come into play, and now we see Wobbly coming up.
Look at that!
Wobbly took that.
Wow. Sorry,
Stefan took that a lot. Stefan took that a lot better, and we see Wobbly coming up to some more traffic, but he's got it in a really good place on the straight, which is easy to pass, as opposed to that little wobbly section that comes up after this, and it just makes all the difference.
Yeah, that was Mark Draper they were passing.
Ooh. Okay, I thought we were going to be robbed of something, but it looks like it's still on.
I think there's 2 laps to go after this one's finished, possibly. Sure, Clyde will let us know once the time ticks over.
It's just gonna be down to how brave Stefan's gonna be on his last 2 laps. If he's gonna put his nose in there, and if Wobbly's gonna give him a gap to put his nose in, to see what happens in this battle. But I don't think it's gonna let up until we cross the line.
No, I think you're right. This is the closest battle, well, equal closest. Scott Malcolm's getting very, very interested in Gary Craig at the moment again. It did eke itself out. It has done again, actually. It's seesawing up and down. Half a second on the screen at the minute. He takes piles out of him.
One more lap after this one.
Okay, so penultimate lap we're on.
Yeah, and I think Scott Malcolm is going to be very close to running dry at this stage.
Yeah, that's a good point. Has he got enough to get... Whoa, come on, boys, careful. Each one was disadvantaged by that in a different way. Ooh.
Oh, he's right on his tail.
Super close, yeah.
You can just taste how much Stefan wants this.
Yeah, he really does, and Wobbly don't want to give it up. We've got another whole lap of this. I'm keeping one eye on the TCR battle, but it's not playing out yet, and we've got yet to see if Scott can make it to the end with a second and a half, 2 seconds less time in his pit box.
Rob Venn has just took the white flag.
Okay.
This is the last lap. Yeah, and Scott's gonna have to go another lap round, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been sat behind Gary for a while, so if he's actually learned how to fuel save, maybe he can manage this.
He's got quite a big gap from him to Mark Draper in fourth, so he can afford to lift off a little bit to try and make it around if he is running tight. I mean, we're assuming Scott's done a Scott. It looks like Wobbly's. I think Stefan has resigned himself to third place here. The gap is just a little bit too big to catch up in this last little section.
Yep.
I mean, it's about closing the gap and then making the pass, something that he hasn't been able to do for the last couple of laps. So unless Wobbly makes a mistake somewhere here, it looks like we can see this finishing like this.
Somewhere in front, Rob Venn will be very close to crossing the start-finish line. He's nearly 5 seconds ahead of these two. Here he is, entering the carousel. Just got to straighten the car up for the very last turn. And
that's another win for Rob Venn. Well done to him. It's, we spoke about it at the beginning of the season. And the others crossing the line now.
Congratulations.
But yeah, we spoke about Rob Venn a lot at the beginning of the season, and him just needing to come into his own, which he has now. Yes, Tyler has had a bit of an incident in the beginning, so we couldn't really see how much that was going to play into it. But these things happen, and you need to take your opportunities when they come. Stefan Goebel and Wobbly Niekamp has done that, and we see some good finishes here for the RWC team as well.
Yeah, it's a really good set of finishes actually, 4th and 5th.
Boy.
So Stephen Walker will have taken the checkered flag for TCR somewhere in the background.
Well, he hasn't yet because he's still on the lead lap, so he still needs to come around. He needs to come around while all the others have already finished. So it looks like Scott Malcolm has made it around. It's a very good third place for Scott. Welcome back.
I wonder how many fuel tanks he had in that car.
I think whatever's happened with his calculator, he's definitely got the right one out. I mean, he made the shortest stop, and it made it all the way to the end for a third place finish.
Short stop made all the difference because that's 2 seconds that he gained on the people he was racing around before the stop, and gave him that gap. So good effort. Stephen Walker over the line, takes the checkered flag.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
Well, how often do you see the winner come across the line last? Well done to Stephen Walker. He really did. He was just a touch above everybody else this week. Well done for his debut race.
So we'll wait for the session to go checkered and for the results to pop onto the screen. As Stephen proves that he's not run out of fuel.
So what a race that was, Pete.
It was.
We had it all. We had it all.
We really did that. In both races, individual battles, and the TCR one, they just couldn't leave each other alone. There was 8 cars at one point, line astern, all fighting to, but either stay in the tow or get past one another. And fragmented at some points, then came back together. The pit stops split them all up. And the TCRs, just fantastic. Stefan managed to stick it on the track, and Tyler didn't. There's a reversal of fortunes, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I called Stefan more out of me thinking he's really deserved it this season. He's raced really well. I think this is the results coming up on screen now.
Do you want to do GT4 and I'll do TCR?
Yeah. So, I mean, first place we saw Rob Venn. Well, we didn't see much of him because he was all out on his own. Rob Venn taking the win for BSTV Yellow. Wobbly Niekamp coming in second for Next Level E-Series Racing. Stefan Goebel, VTS Germany in third, rounding up the podium. Good finishes for Chris Needham and Arne Chenanier for RWC Racing. Something happened to the other partner, Jason Harrington, early on, and he didn't finish. But Tyler Newitt in 6th for PSTV Orange. He had a couple of incidents early, and then Alan Toon bringing up the back of the GT4s. You finished 2 laps down.
And in TCR, we had Stephen Walker stealth it on his debut. We know how fast he is, though, so I'm only winding him up doing that. So congratulations to him. Gary Craig finished 2nd for BSTV Esports Green. Scott Malcolm finished 3rd. And Mark Draper finished 4th. Chris Shaw was 5th for BSTV Esports Yellow. Jamie Wilson was 6th for Team Chimera. For Result Clothing iRacing team, Frank T-Bosch finished 7th. That's a good result for Frank. Martin Brennan in 8th for Safeguard by Result, followed by his teammate in 9th, Carl Hardy. David Ayres finished 10th for Result Clothing iRacing team. And then rounding out that field, and did not finish, I don't think, no he didn't, was Lee Bowden for Sim Racing Channel. So, we shall start with the interviews now. Do you want to do any interviews, or are you wanting me to do them? Yes.
Either way, we can split them up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hand Rob Venn over to you, and as long as I'm pressing all the right buttons, then Rob Venn should be in the booth. So over to you, Yaz.
Yeah, congrats, Rob, on that win. How are you feeling after that race?
Knackered. Yeah, it was hard work. There was a lot of management, let's say, going on in terms of fuel levels, tires a little bit, managing the gap. Yeah, it's quite. It might have looked quite easy, but it was really difficult because it was just trying to keep everything balanced almost. Yeah, I tried. I mean, at the start in the first stint, I tried not to make the mistake I did in Long Beach, where I tried to break sort of the guys behind me. So I actually sort of tried to manage the lead and save a bit of fuel, which I think made me a little bit quicker in the stops. But yeah, it was a hard race.
Yeah, well, from what it looked, it was a very well managed race. You stuck it on the front of the grid, on the front of the pole, so you were a lot quicker this week. Did you find how was the training leading up to this race?
It's a sort of funny thing with me. I sort of need to build up a lot of, let's say, laps, or get a lot of laps in my pocket before I get to speed. So I only really started to get the pace yesterday, I suppose, because we did an official race, and I think I found out a couple of things, sort of thing, in the official race, even though I messed it up. But yeah, I tend to have to do a fair bit of practice to get to that point, and then all of a sudden it starts to click. So yeah, it was good.
And just looking at what happened behind you, all the battles, and we know that on the long straight, the tow really helps the cars that are behind, to fuel save, to tire save, to go faster. I mean, through the race, you never had any of that. Did you feel it, or was it just a case of you doing what you needed to do to just hold that 3-second, 4-second gap ahead of the cars behind you?
Yeah, I was just trying to manage the lead. I was trying to, I didn't. In the first stint, I didn't really want to get that far ahead. I wanted to have the fuel was more valuable than necessarily the time, so I was sort of managing the lead to Weber. I was sort of trying to keep it around about 2 seconds, because that's just sort of nicely out of the tow, but it's not too far up the road. Yeah, the second stint, I think I gained a little bit over the pit stop, so that helped a little bit. But it was just sort of firming up my lead rather than trying to push on a lot.
Yeah, well done to you. I mean, I've always been rooting for you and Stefan, because we headed up our own battles of the seasons before, and you guys have really stepped it up this season.
I think Stefan's due a win if he can sort of pull together a clean race. I think he'll be there. But
sure.
Yeah, it was
For
good.
sure. Is there anybody you want to thank before you go?
Yeah, I thank the team. Thank Tyler for helping out in practice and stuff like that, and obviously bouncing ideas off each other and stuff like that. I think he had a bit of an unfortunate race with the start and stuff like that. Thank you guys for putting on the stream and all that type of stuff. I thank EDF Motorsport for sponsoring the series, and all the other drivers and the people watching. Because it's a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, well done once again. Congratulations on another win. You must just keep it up for the rest of the season. You should be in there with the chance. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to find us a Wobbly Kneecamp. And he should be in the booth now. Good evening, Wobbly. How you doing?
Hey, thanks. I'm good.
Awesome stuff. You can make that BMW do stuff, can't you? It's an impressive result. Second tonight. Awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rob was really fast, and the first stint I was just managing the gap. It's like, oh well, if it's a second, then I'm preserving my tires for the second stint because I didn't want to change. And then I fucked up then I messed up in the first corner, and Stefan passed me, and I was like, oh shit, his pace was so good. So I had to underfuel a bit, but I took it too far because my crew chief said, well, you need 37 liters, and I only tanked 30, and I needed to save 3 liters more than I expected. So I had to let Rob go, because I think if I didn't have to do that, then we would probably be fighting. But man, he was very good. I couldn't beat him.
Yeah, it was very much his race tonight for winning.
Yeah.
Tyler handed or made it easier, I should say, for you. The netco between you and him at the end of the first lap was massive. It was 3 or 4 feet, and his car bounced right up in the air and snapped his front suspension. It was unreal.
Yeah, I rewatched it, and I mean, I went left because Stefan had a really bad start, and then I suddenly saw a car contact and saw Tyler going to the left, and I was like, okay, I didn't even notice I hit him, but I just said sorry because I thought it was my fault. But I rewatched it, and the netcode was insane.
That's bonkers.
Bad luck.
But as of course we know, netcode doesn't exist in iRacing, of course. And we would never suggest such thing to the iRacing gods. But yeah, you had a fantastic race tonight, and hats off to you. Stefan managed to keep you under pressure right to the end. I did wonder whether he'd absolutely have a proper stab, but the closest he got was making you go defensive into China Beach corner, the 4th turn on the track at the end of the straight. But you both came out of it in the same order, so you must trust the racers in this league to race that closely with you.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we left each other room, and what I tried to do was fuel save in the first sectors, and then just pump it out everything I had in the last sector. And I managed to keep the gap like 0.4 or something. But there were times where he had a better exit, and he just went for it. And I mean, he left me like a carved width of space, and I was like, oh well, that's very nice of you, and I like that.
Yeah, it's always going to help, isn't it? So, anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, well, I was in the other Discord with other guys, and the guys really asked me to give a shout out to them. So I want to give a shout out to Vincent and Juiced, because yeah, well, they're awesome guys, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. In that case, congratulations on your second place tonight, and we'll see you next time out.
Cheers, have a good one.
Cheers. I'm just going to figure out where the next race is at, because I'm interested to know. And it's at Charlotte Roval. Wow, I've not been there for years. So we'll get our next victim in. I thought Stefan would be in for an interview, but he's not. So who have we got here then? Let's have a look. We should bring in our race winner. Our race winner from TCR. Debut in this league, but we know how fast he is from previous. Stephen Walker, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Thank you very much.
And Yaz has come off his mute, so do you want to take this one, Yaz?
Sure, no problem.
Cheers.
Stephen, welcome to Backfire's Motorsport League, and well done on your first win on debut. How did you find that race?
I wasn't expecting to win, I'm not going to lie. I knew I had decent pace, so I just wanted to take it easy at the start, and I didn't want to cause anyone any trouble, because obviously I'm coming into it later on in the championship. I don't want to mess anyone's race up or anything like that, but I was saving a bit of fuel, and then I thought, well, if an opportunity arises, I'm going to take it, and then I just tried to make the most of it, and just keep putting the laps up, basically, yeah.
And how did you find driving in this race? Did How did you find driving in this race in your first one?
Yeah, it's really good actually. To be fair, I wasn't expecting to be quick around here. I only got the track. Well, this is the first time I've raced this version of this track. I think it was I got it on Sunday. So I wasn't expecting that, but the track's really good. Driving this car around there, I think it just clicked. It's quite a flowy track, and I just think it suited my driving style. To be fair.
He's now in the bracket, Yaz, of people we have to hate if he's only had the track since the weekend and can already win against these guys.
It doesn't always work like that.
So, with the quality of racing that you've seen around you now in this race, would we see you back for more?
Yeah, I've signed up for the rest of the season, and it's highly likely I'll continue it. I'd like driving the TCR. It's good to race against people. I don't think it'll be like that every single week. Obviously, I just think I clicked with the track a little bit better, maybe. So yeah, I'd have to be here for the rest of the season, and then I don't see why I wouldn't come back for the next one if the racing is this good. Everyone's been really brilliant, kind, and I can't say better things about you guys.
Yeah, I think that even if you don't find yourself up front, you're going to find yourself in a battle no matter where you are. That's just how tight this TCR field is. So well done. Welcome to the league, and well done on your win today. Is there anybody you want to thank?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd just like to give a shout out to Russ and Mr. Captain Mannering himself, Matt Elmore, just for bigging me up during the race, helping me through. Couldn't have done it without them, and my brother, because I think he was watching. So I was like, all right, Tony.
Well done again. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cool. Awesome stuff. So now it's teammate to teammate as I bring in Gary Craig to the interview room. So good evening, Gary. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm good. Thanks, guys. How are you all?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We've got Mel Gibson on cameras. We've got Silent Yaz, not so Silent Yaz, he's now called. Stacey's having an internet trouble, so she's muted at the minute. You had a very, very highly pressured race, didn't you? Really, that must have been bonkers for you.
It was good fun. I mean, it was the first half of the race was a polar opposite of our officials last night, where I was stuck behind Stephen for a full half an hour and couldn't get by. Whereas tonight I got the pole and he was behind me for a long time, but he had the pace. I 0x'd the car in the first lap through Thunder Valley. So I don't know if I got damage, it slowed me down, but that's why I took an early pit stop to take my free repair, just in case that was the case. But yeah, the guys behind were rapid. Everyone was in a really close fight there. It's good fun.
Yeah, and you weren't driven against Stephen before, but we've had him in leagues before. He's super fast, isn't he?
Well, yeah, so last night in the officials, me and him were battling for the win, and I just couldn't. I was 0.7 of a second behind him for half an hour, and I just couldn't bridge even to make an attempt at a pass. So I knew he was quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of expecting that. He's a very quick driver.
Any other surprises tonight? Scott Malcolm not running out of fuel. What's that about?
Well, Scotty was absolutely flying at the
He
end.
was.
You know, he says that he's been off and he's doing different league this season. That's not right. What he's gone and got himself a little Mr. Miyagi, and he's doing full lock on, full lock off. He's been in the dojo training, and he's rapid. He was flying at the end there. He was really good off the corners, and he was really pressuring me. I think I had him on the brakes, so I was kind of managed to made it work. But yeah, he was dead quick. It's good to see him back and good to see him at the front.
And I was trying to figure out whether tyres would be chosen here, and everybody took them, as far as I could tell. And
I don't think anyone took them.
See, we were seeing cars popping up.
Well, I definitely didn't take them, and all the other guys in the room said they didn't take them. So
right, okay.
I'm pretty sure, because everyone was 33 seconds pit stops, apart from Scott. It was a 31-second pit stop. So I was thinking, has he got his fuel calculator wrong again?
The same thing, yeah.
No, he saved loads of fuel in that first half behind everyone. But yeah, everyone said they didn't take tyres.
Nah, cool. And Charlotte Roval next. It's been years since I was there. Is that a track that you get on with, or have you not been there for so long you can't remember it?
I've only done the new layout once or twice. I did it in the GTE a couple of seasons ago with you.
Oh,
and
yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
It was mayhem. I think I got second place and probably only one of 2 cars to finish. But it's one of those tracks that if we can all get it right, it punishes you if you get it pushed too hard, but it's really rewarding to just about brush those walls and carry the speed. So again, mayhem into the chicanes. There's 2 chicanes there now, and really quick death in turn 1. So
Yeah.
it could be interesting, especially with how competitive this field is now. Just watching the replay back, and there's 8 cars within about 2 seconds of each other there. It's
Honestly, the
really close.
first however many laps I lost count was just unreal. Everybody having a look at everybody else and just stuck together. Fantastic. Not sure what happened to Carl Hardy. He's not in the chat, but I expect he ended up with some sort of slowdown or missed his pit box. We were trying to figure it out when we were racing.
It was an odd one because like I pitted quite a few laps before Carl, but then came out of the pits with him just a second behind. It was like great race on, and then a couple of laps later he pitted. So I don't think it was unless you've got 3 laps to take a penalty. So maybe he did have a speeding penalty, and he eventually had to take the drive through. Because I didn't see him pick up loads of 1Xs when he was behind me, so I didn't think it was a 15X drive through. So maybe he's just speeding.
Yeah, maybe so. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go and practice for Charlotte?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to Sam and his dastardly plan to break his arms to get Clyde back in the booth on the cameras there. And to all of you guys, I hope Sam gets better soon. Good to see Clyde back covering, and to Yaz and Stacey for stepping in on the broadcast, and to you who've had to step out the car, of course. So I hope to see you back in the car soon. But yeah, I know the effort you put in is really big, so thanks for that. Big shout out to Stephen, first race in the league, and goes out there, wins it, and he's rapid. I hope he sticks around for another season, does a full season, because he's well up there. It'll be really good fun. To the sponsors, to EDF Motorsports, and everyone who watches and drives.
Awesome stuff, and we will see you at Charlotte. Congratulations for your second place.
Cheers, thanks guys.
Okay, for your hilarity and entertainment, Yaz, you're getting Scott Malcolm, who finished 3rd place tonight.
Scott, welcome back, Scott. Well done at that first podium. On the way back, how are you feeling after that race tonight?
I'm still in shock. I don't know what happened there. I really don't.
Well, we were trying to figure out what happened with that calculator, because your pit stop was 2 seconds slower than 2 seconds less than anybody else's, and we were wondering, is Scott Malcolm doing a Scott Malcolm on that fuel there? But then you made it all the way to the end. Yeah, talk us through that.
Like I said, yeah, I don't know. I just do not know what happened there. I really don't. I've shocked myself with that race. I didn't even realise I was 2 seconds quicker in the pits than everybody else. So, again, it was just a case of putting in consistent laps every time and see what would happen.
Gary just told us, or mentioned to us now in the interview before this, that you've gone off and found yourself a driving coach over the time that you were gone, and come back completely a new man and a new racer. Is that true? Because you're definitely showing a lot more pace.
Yeah, there's been a couple of guys helping me.
Yeah, that's good. Are we going to see you back for the rest of the season, or is this a one-off? What's happening?
No, I'll be back for the rest of the season, and other seasons after that at the moment.
Oh, that's good to hear. Good to have you back. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just the usual crowd, all you guys for putting on these broadcasts, running this league. Hope Clyde can come back in some sort of capacity. Miss him, take the mick out of me. Obviously, the team result guys for letting me hang about in the Discord and put up the practice sessions through the week. And I think that's about it just now, I think. Yeah, aye, okay, that's it.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you back. Looking forward to seeing you out the rest of the season. Thanks again.
Yeah, cheers, yes. Cheers.
Well done.
Very good. Always good to have him in the league.
See, somebody misses me.
Yeah, I miss you as well, but I'll get you with the next bullet. Don't worry. So Mark Draper is the next victim. Interviewee that I'm dragging in. So good evening, Mark. How you doing?
All right, mate. Yeah, good. You?
Awesome. Yeah, not bad. We saw you having a real locked battle with quite a few different people. We saw you move forward a bit, and then we saw you drop back, and weren't sure why you were dropping back. And then you made your way forward again towards the end of the race, dispatching Jamie Wilson and then Chris Shaw in short order. And you finished tonight in 4th place. So, congratulations. Tell us what was going on.
I was really struggling. First few laps, I was just quite happy to sit behind Gary, and I thought I'd just save a bit of fuel. But then Steve, the new driver, came past, and I thought, right, I won't fight him too much. But then I think it was, I can't remember what it was behind me after that. It was really, really close, and I just kept making mistakes down into the right-hander on the back straight. Every time I tried to brake, the rear just kept stepping out on me, and then I lost like 3 positions or something, and just thought, oh, bugger out. I'll have to just see what I can do later on. And then I stayed on the back of them thinking, right, I could just save fuel again, and then we'll see what happens. But then I seen Jamie pit, and I thought, right, well, I'm pitting the next lap. And then as I went to pit, Gary pitted, and so did Chris. So then it sort of like nullified it. We just pretty much came back out in the same place, and then I don't know what happened. I think Carl got a pit slowdown or something like that.
We don't know what happened to him. We've been trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think he got a speeding in pit lane, drive through, stop and go. I think he took a drive through, thinking it was a drive through, but it wasn't. It was a stop and go. So I think he done it twice. But,
well, that'll explain that one then. So thanks for that.
I did enjoy the racing with Jamie. I don't think Jamie was quite on pace tonight, a little, because even Jamie will probably say that himself. But he was. He's got the widest Audi I know, because I couldn't get past him. And it's the same with Chris. I knew I was faster than Chris, but Chris was so good on the brakes into that back straight that every time I got there, it was a case of trying to fend, and I think I nudged him at one point where I lost the rear again. But then I just let him back past. But it was fun, but frustrating at the same time. I don't know if you felt like that, or you know you're quicker, but it's just all right.
I've never felt like I was quicker than anybody, to be honest. But your race was probably one of
what you're on about.
Your race was probably one of the most entertaining of all of the ones that we watched tonight, because you were right in the thick of it with all sorts of different people. And at the end of the race, you were picking them up and putting them behind you like it was, like you were racing against MX-5s. It was crazy.
Yeah, driving in anger, that's what it was. Driving in anger.
It's rage driving.
Rage driving.
Awesome.
Yeah, got a mop in my brow and everything.
Charlotte Roval out next. Been there recently or not?
I did a different league race with that this about 7, 8, might have been a bit longer than that, 16 weeks ago, something like that. But I liked it, really liked it. It's a nice twisty little track.
It is, yeah.
Door banging and stuff like that.
Yeah, Gary reminded me I'd been there recently, and I think I've eviscerated it from my mind because of the amount of incident points that I generated when I went round there.
Yeah.
It was a painful race to try and round, it has to be said. Yes, so anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go?
Just the Result Boys, use Boys for Broadcasting, and Clyde, because I know he's in Discord. Hello, Clyde. And yeah, just everyone that races the league, as always. Great racing, again.
Thank you very much. 5th place tonight, Mark Draper. No,
Cheers,
4th place. 4th place. I just stole a place from you.
Cheers.
Yeah, flushed him. Right, so last up for you, Yaz, if that's all right with you, is Jamie Wilson. So Jamie finished. Where did you finish? 6th tonight. Over to you, Yaz.
Jeremy, well done on that race. It was again one of those epic back and forth battles that you had. How did you find that one?
Yeah, it was fourth for a while and then back for quite a longer while. Yeah, it was good fun. Bit of elbows out, which is good. Yeah, really struggled in the second half. I had absolutely no pace at all after the pit stop for some reason, so fell back through the field, but hopefully did so gracefully.
Yeah, well, I was just saying we've seen you and Chris Shaw attached at the hip for the last few races on so many occasions, and we got it again tonight. Like you say, elbows out between both of you, either you in front or him in front. But great racing. You enjoy the battles with Chris?
Yeah, it's not just Chris; it's Mark and Carl and everyone. This is a great bunch of people to be racing with, and I had a bit of a lunge at Gary quite early on, and then Mark had a bit of a lunge at me through the keyhole turn 2 a bit later on in the race, and it's all good. We chat about it. There's no animosity or anything like that. It's all good stuff. We enjoy it. So yeah, it's and long may it continue.
Yeah, there's really nothing that separates the lot of you. I mean, you're always on the same part of track. 4 or 5 cars at the same time. So it's just about who's in front and who's at the back and who's in between. In terms of this track, how did you find it going around here today?
It's very difficult to pass. But then that's true of a lot of tracks. The thing around here is that one tiny little mistake in your line, particularly in the midsection, kind of has a compound effect because you're then offline for 3 or 4 corners after that. So you have to be absolutely bang on your marks all the time. And obviously, when you've got a car, 1 centimeter in front of you and another 1 centimeter behind you, it's quite difficult sometimes to pick those out. But you get a feel for it eventually. But yeah, this is a really good touring car track. It lends itself well to it. There is, say it's hard to pass, but that's just because we're all so evenly matched. Going down into turn 4, whatever it is, there is an opportunity there, but you need to have a fair bit of the minerals to actually make that work. So yeah, it's really good fun.
Yeah, going up to turn 4, we spoke about that quite a lot through the race. The toe around down that long straight is huge, and then you've got that opportunity at the end there, but you really need to have the run up on your opponent. In terms of sort of the strategy and pitting, I mean, we saw everybody doing one stop, and it was just mentioned before this that nobody took tires. Did you feel that as your race was unfolding? Did you feel the tires go off?
Yeah, I had no pace in the second half of the race. So I was really struggling to get into the 30s at all. I was constantly hovering around that 31.1 kind of area, and I could see the other guys around me doing 30.6, 30.8 on the regular. So I probably did burn mine off quite a bit in the first half, which was a bit of a mistake. I did try and find the ultimate excuse of there being a cone under my car, but I've checked the replay; it wasn't there, so I can't blame that. But yeah, it was definitely. I think taking tyres wouldn't have worked out though. Still, it would have been a net loss if you had done that. So, the right move by everyone. And I kind of set off the pit sequence because I was basically at that point just starting to come under pressure, and I thought I'm going to lose less time if I get into clear air here. And then that just triggered everyone pitting, and I ended up in the traffic again. So, it's one of those things. Certain tracks that will. I forget where was it. It was last week, Long Beach, where sometimes taking tyres can be a net gain if you're quick enough to do that, as Chris found out. So yeah, there's often not around here, but there's sometimes that can you can have a race like that where you have 3 different segments of the field all doing different things.
Charlotte Roval next week. What's your thoughts and plans around there?
I do have a win round there from my half season I did a little while ago. So it's a good stomping ground in that sense. I'm pretty neutral towards that track, to be honest. It's quite a busy track for the infield section. A couple of bits are a bit like Mid Ohio. You've got a couple of blind apexes in the middle, and similar kind of corner profiles and that kind of thing. So, but obviously we have much longer opportunities to tow each other into the chicane and into the end of the lap chicane as well. Expect a lot of cars flying through the air over the curbs there as well.
And before you guys, anybody you like to thank, so give a shout out to?
Yep, yourselves as usual, the drivers, particularly Stephen Walker, who's obviously joined in and started off well with a win. Well deserved as well. He drove really well. And yeah, just yourselves for putting on another great broadcast. I'm looking forward to watching later today.
Well done on that race, keeping us entertained there this evening. Maybe the result wasn't as great as you've had before, but it was still entertaining. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep. Cheers,
well
guys.
Done. Cheers, man.
So, interview's over. I thought that was an absolutely brilliant race in terms of the amount and length of the battles that we had. And we had a few people deciding, there's a replay of Tyler getting netcoded into the moon. And we had a few decisions to make on why people were doing what they were doing. So, always good to have those uncertainties, keep us all guessing, and see what ridiculous things we come up with trying to figure it out. What was your opinion on the race, Yas?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned is definitely, it keeps things interesting. We're guessing and we don't know exactly how things are going to pan out. I mean, it's all fine and easy if it's just a sprint race to the end. But there's enough in here, and everybody's thinking about their racing now. You can see it play out. Great win for Rob Finn. A great drive by Wobbly Niekamp and Stefan Goebel to keep us entertained in the GT4s. The TCRs, again, nothing between them. We had a newcomer come in and take the win, but really, for the rest, there's really you can't put anything between them at any point. Scott Malcolm coming away with a good third place. He doesn't know what happened. But it just goes to show that there's really nothing in between these drivers, and it's just really good racing all around.
So we need to do driver of the night to keep that going. I don't know whether you've got that, Clyde, have you?
Yes.
That graphic. Oh, you have? Oh, tremendous, right.
No, I haven't got the graphic for it, but...
Oh, but you've got the table. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Stacey's already voted for Carl Hardy on a sympathy vote. That's the best way I can describe it to you all. So, what about you, Yaz? Do we pick two or do we pick one each? I can't remember. Just the one. All right. So go on then, Yaz. Who's your driver of the night?
Yeah, I'd love to say it is Rob Van for his win. And I'm usually the GT4. I usually have bias toward the GT4s, but I have to give it to Scott Malcolm tonight for his third place in the TCRs. Whatever he's done in his sabbatical that he's had has worked for him. So Scott Malcolm for me.
Stuff. Clyde, you get a vote, don't you?
I do. I will stick to my usual plan and give it to a winning driver on his first time out, Stephen Walker.
Yeah, it's a good choice. Am I still not allowed to vote for myself?
No.
Oh, damn it. I'm going to have to go with the Stephen Walker one. I mean, to turn up on your debut in a field with people you don't usually race with and absolutely bat it out of the park and win by 8 seconds, I think that's got to attract one. So, Stephen Walker for me as well, I'm afraid.
Okay, so we still have Rob Venn leading the way. Mark Draper second, and Lee Bowden, Andy Perks, and somebody called Bingham in third.
All right, okay, awesome. That last one is the most handsome bloke in the league, so he might win it just for that. Anyway, what else have we got coming up for you? We have on Saturday, hopefully I'll find some friends before then, because We've got the Next Level E-Series Enduro from Watkins Glen Classic Boot, an 8-hour race where we'll be talking all things other than the race for quite a long time, I would think. It'll certainly be interesting. A lot of the races you've seen tonight will be there taking part, so that's going to be fantastic. On Sunday, sorry, that starts at noon, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm right with that. That's when I'm turning up anyway. On Sunday, we've got the VRA GTCC Laguna Seca 90-minute race. That will also be very interesting, watching GTEs go around Laguna. And on Monday, we've got Next Level E-Series GT3 from Phillip Island, which will, again, be really interesting. Phillip Island's a race that I like, and a track that I like, I should say, and always high on my list of places to go racing. As you've probably already noticed from the many references to it already tonight, next Wednesday, a week today, this series will be back at Charlotte Roval. Fantastic track, and now that I've remembered it, but I do like to attract several incidents and probably a drive-through. So it might be good that I'm back in the booth again. Thanks to EDF Motorsports, and thanks to the guys in the booth with me. A little bit of sick is rising in my mouth as I say this, but hopefully Clyde Whiten can pop back as a permanent addition, because I do miss a lot of the banter, but don't tell him I said that. I'll hand you over to Yaz, then Clyde, because I think Stacey's checked out for the evening, to say good evening and good night, and we'll see you next time. So, good evening from me.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the entertainment.
Yeah, and good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.